Why is it that when someone asks what you're doing for your birthday, you instinctively say, "Nothing, just a normal day," and you say it calmly, without hesitation, without even a hint of regret? Why is it that when your feed fills with cakes, balloons, group photos, and long birthday captions, you don't feel envious? You don't feel left out. You don't even feel the urge to participate. Sometimes it almost feels like all that celebration belongs to someone else's life. And why is it that when people look at you with concern and say you're too detached, too indifferent, or ask whether something must have happened, you're not entirely sure yourself whether this is growth or a change you never really examined? If any of that feels familiar, then this isn't about labeling you antisocial, and it's not about convincing you to force yourself back into celebration. Instead, we're asking something quieter. When you stop celebrating your birthday, is that freedom or is it protection? Because sometimes the way you relate to your birthday reveals something deeper, the way you relate to your own sense of worth. Maybe you remember a year like this. Before the day arrived, you were already counting. You didn't announce it, but you were expecting something, a message, a call, a small sign that someone remembered. When the day finally came, you acted like it didn't matter. You went to work, answered emails, moved through the day as usual, but you still checked your phone, then checked it again. As evening settled in, nothing special happened. No surprise, no gathering, no moment of being truly seen. You told yourself it was fine. Everyone is busy. Birthdays aren't that important. But that quiet drop in your chest didn't disappear. Psychology calls this prediction error. Your brain forms an expectation before something happens. When reality doesn't match it, your nervous system registers the gap. Dopamine isn't only about pleasure. It responds to the distance between what you hoped for and what actually arrived. If disappointment happens once, you'll probably try again next year. But if the gap repeats year after year, your brain begins to adapt. Lower the expectation, invest less, reduce the risk of hurt. So now when someone asks, you say calmly, "It's just a normal day." It sounds like indifference, but often it's self-protection. When this kind of protection happens more than once, it stops being a moment. It becomes a setting. In 1967, psychologist Martin Seligman introduced a concept called learned helplessness. When someone repeatedly experiences disappointment without control over the outcome, the brain begins to reduce effort, not because the person lacks strength, but because the system calculates risk. If hoping leads to pain, hoping becomes expensive. In that sense, a birthday can quietly turn into a gamble. You have to let yourself want something. Let yourself care. Let yourself imagine being remembered. But the outcome is never guaranteed. If the day passes and nothing happens, that familiar drop returns. So the nervous system adapts, lower the emotional temperature, detach in advance. Neuroscience tells us the brain is wired to minimize discomfort. When expectation repeatedly produces disappointment, the brain adjusts the expectation. Not dramatically, not consciously, just gradually. You stop reserving emotional energy for that date. You don't announce your withdrawal. You simply realize one year that it feels unnecessary. From the outside, it looks like indifference. From the inside, it's recalibration. Your brain isn't trying to make you cold. It's trying to reduce future pain. Sometimes what looks like not caring is simply a system that learned to conserve. But not every story is about disappointment. Maybe nothing painful happened. Maybe no one forgot. Maybe no dramatic moment forced you to change. You simply noticed that the day itself no longer carried weight. You didn't forget your birthday. You didn't avoid it. You just didn't need it. When others talk about parties, reservations, decorations, you don't resist. You just remain steady. There is a theory in psychology called self-determination theory. It suggests that psychological well-being becomes more stable when it comes from internal alignment rather than external affirmation. If you already feel grounded in an ordinary week, your birthday no longer carries the responsibility of confirming your importance. You're not waiting for concentrated attention to feel seen. There's another concept known as the hedonic treadmill. When happiness depends on stimulation, the stimulation must keep escalating. Bigger plans, more people, more intensity, and yet the feeling rarely settles. At some point, you may have stepped off that cycle, not because you lack warmth, not because you're detached, but because you stopped outsourcing your sense of value to a ritual. You don't need a celebration to know you matter, and that shift is not emptiness, it's stability. But there is another possibility you have to consider. Sometimes when you say, "It's just another day," it doesn't come from ease, it comes from tension. Psychologist Jennifer Crocker studied something called contingent self-worth. When your sense of value depends heavily on how others respond, every expectation becomes a risk. If the day isn't celebrated enough, not acknowledged enough, not visibly affirmed, an old doubt can grow louder. Maybe I'm not that important. Maybe I don't matter as much. To avoid confirming that fear, you withdraw in advance, lower the stakes. Tell yourself it doesn't matter. Reduce the emotional exposure. This is protection, but true freedom feels different. You don't celebrate, and you're not secretly hoping someone will break the silence. You're not bracing for disappointment. You're not scanning for validation. Both states look almost identical from the outside. Internally, they feel completely different. So the real question is not whether you celebrate, it's this. When you say it's just a normal day, does your body feel relaxed or slightly guarded? The answer belongs only to you. Maybe now you see something more clearly. The issue was never whether you celebrate your birthday. The real question is how you relate to your own worth. If repeated disappointment shaped you, your brain adapted. If your meaning moved inward, you no longer needed the ritual. If fear still lingers, withdrawal may still be protection. The same sentence, "It's just a normal day," can come from three very different places: injury, maturity, defense. The difference isn't visible on the surface, it lives inside you. If you don't celebrate and still feel whole, that isn't coldness, it's steadiness. When you no longer need a room full of attention to confirm your value, you've taken that value back from the outside world. You're not waiting for one day a year to feel important. You already know. Even without cake, without a chorus, without reminders, real self-respect isn't about rejecting celebration. It's about no longer outsourcing your sense of existence to it. A birthday can be ordinary, it can also be special, but either way, your worth doesn't fluctuate. If you've reached that place, you didn't become distant. You simply stopped needing proof that you matter. This is happy psychology. May you understand yourself with more clarity and meet change without losing who you are. See you next time.